Hi everyone, welcome back. I decided to make a grungy art journal out of a book cover. I made this a long time ago and never did anything more with it in terms of putting papers inside, and I just used what I had at the time, and I really don't like this at all. So it's going to get a new life, and I'm going to make it in a style that I actually like this time. So I'm starting just with an empty book cover. It's in good condition as far as this, like the spine's not falling off or anything. So I have some packing paper that came in I think it was, I don't know, maybe a box from Amazon. But it was a great big long sheet, and when I went to just tear it on the fold, I found that it was perforated, so that was nice. So anyways, I am just going to put that on the front and on the inside. So I will speed this up, and I'm just going to glue it on. I'm trying to use up this jar of Mod Podge. Not my favorite, but for this purpose it will work just fine. I really prefer matte medium, but this is going to take a lot, a fair amount, and so I figured I might as well just use it up. Alright, I'm going to have to reinforce that. Oh, that's because there was a perforation right there. Can you see it? I don't know if it's focusing or not. There's a perforation right along there. Anyways, that's why it's coming apart right there. Okay, for some unknown reason my iPad had shut up and I didn't realize it while I was doing this, but anyways, the paper that was originally underneath here that I said I wonder if I should pull it off, and then I didn't. I should have, because it's lifted and I've got bubbles, but that's on the inside. And like I said, this is just for me, so that's okay. But I want to reinforce this here because of that perforation, but I think I'm just going to give it a coat of Mod Podge over this whole thing first, just to shore it up a little more. This is almost gone, which was the goal, right? Okay, I'm coming on just to show you, let me turn this off for a minute, to show you, you see, I hope you can see how many wrinkles there are there. If you press down you need to get it dry enough to where you can touch it without really smearing through a lot of glue. As you're drying, press it down, and you can press out a lot of those wrinkles. Just watch your fingers, don't burn them. You have to press really hard. Do it on an area where you just heated it up. You'll still have the wrinkles, but it won't be bubbled up away from the surface that you're gluing it to. I'm a very tactile artist. I always have my hands covered in stuff because it's just how I like to work. I like to get my fingers in the media. So I kind of accidentally discovered this when I was collaging, and I would get spots where it wasn't stuck down well enough. It really works pretty good most of the time. I mean, I want the wrinkles, so it's not going to make it be not wrinkled, it's just going to make it be stuck and not have bubbles underneath there like I had. And if you use a heat gun, most of you I'm sure know this, but if you use a heat gun to dry glue or paint, just keep it maybe that far, 6 inches or so off the surface so that you don't overheat the medium and have it bubble up on you. I have all these little bits and pieces because the glue's coming off my fingers as I'm rubbing, because my fingertips are covered in glue as usual. There, that's good. See? I don't know if you can tell the difference from the way it was before. Let me try to get it so the light's hitting it right, but it's not bubbled up anymore. It's wrinkled, which is good, but there are no bubbles. It's all stuck down really well. Everywhere but here, but there's, like I said, there's nothing I can really do about that because that's the underneath paper. Okay, everything's covered and dried. I found this kind of cute fabric in my stash. I have no idea what it was from, but anyways, I'm going to reinforce this inside the spine with this. I'm using also something else that was in my stash that I don't know where it came from. I think it was from my daughter's baby shower, maybe. It is, I'll show you, Elmer's Craft Bond Fabric and Paper Glue, Permanent Wet Tack, acid free. So, let's see how it works. Gonna get it in there. I just got all the Mod Podge off my hands. Now I'm going to be covered in this. I hate it when my fingers just stick to everything as I'm trying to work. Stinky. I found this piece of printed canvas in a Seven Gypsies paper pad that was in my stash. So even though this isn't a sewing themed journal, I thought that it would help reinforce this spine really well. So I put a piece there on the outside, and I think that's going to hold up pretty good. I'll go over it with paint and stuff and you won't really notice the although I don't mind the graphic. And then this fabric is just on the inside, and that's still quite tacky. That was this Craft Bond fabric and paper glue. Stayed pretty sticky for a long time, so I even dried it with my heat gun, but it's still, maybe that's just it's almost like a rubbery, you know, when you run your hand over something that's rubber and it sticks, because it doesn't feel like sticky. It's weird. I just used my ultimate glue. This is my absolute favorite glue for almost everything, but I used that for this, and it's nice and dry. Okay, so I am going to, it needs a little more in the corner. I am going to let this dry really well. Then I'm gonna paint it, do something to make it pretty, and then I'm gonna have to research. I don't make journals, so I usually just buy books and alter them. I'm going to research some different binding stitches and see what I want to do. I may do one with elastic where I can take the pages out to work on them and then slide them back in. That seems pretty practical to me, instead of sewing them in. So that's this part, and I'll be back when this is all dry and we'll get it painted. Thought I would come back for a minute and show you what I've done with this cover. It's grunging up really nicely. What I did after everything dried, I went around the edges with potting soil, archival ink, because I didn't want it to reactivate. That's why I didn't use the Distress Oxide ink. I used the archival ink, and it's staying sticky for some reason. I'm hoping that after it dries overnight, that stickiness will go away. And then in my stash from many moons ago, it's losing its label. And it wasn't a witch hazel bottle, but I got this. It's called Doll Antiquing Stain. And I'm pretty sure the lady that I got it from years ago, I used it to dye fabric, muslin mostly. I think she used walnut crystals. I don't know what the solution is. It's from the 80s, you guys, and when I opened it I thought, oh my gosh, it's probably all moldy, but it's not at all. I've got almost a full bottle here, and I just put it all over this with a brush. And can you see how it got dark? When it sank down into the paper, some areas got really dark. And then I put that layer on with a brush and dried it with the heat tool, and then I just took a baby wipe and dunked some out of the bottle and tapped it on to get these darker spots here and there, and then went over the fabric to just darken that too. I really like how it's looking, so I am going to do the same thing on the inside. What you see here is the archival ink. Like I said, it's still sticky. I don't understand why. If you know whether archival ink does not go well on top of Mod Podge, leave me a comment and let me know, because that's the only thing I can think of as to why that happened. So I'm just going to take this Doll Antiquing Stain on an old brush and just brush it. It's nice to be able to put it on with a brush too, because I can work it down into all the creases in the paper. I'm just kind of scrubbing it over the surface. Hopefully that bottle's not in the way. I'll move it. And then I really have to scrub it to get it to soak down into the fabric, which only makes sense, right? Because it's more porous and it's got a lot of glue under it. But I'll tell you what, a tiny little bit goes a long way, so you might want to research. I'm not going to need to, because I've got a crap ton of this left in the bottle, so I'm not going to need any for a very long time. But if you wanted to try to stain things with walnut crystals, I'm sure there's a million recipes online. from all the doll makers and fabric people on how to mix it up. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what it's mixed in. It may just be water. But if it was water, I would think it might, maybe, it doesn't smell like alcohol though. I was going to say something that after all these years, it has not molded, which is what I was sure I was going to find when I opened the bottle. I didn't even know I had this, but it was way up on one of my top shelves. And I noticed it the other day, and I thought, oh, I should probably get up there and throw that away. And then when I was trying to decide how I wanted to age this cover, it came to mind, and I thought, well, I'll get it done and see what kind of shape it's in. Seems to be okay. See how it's sinking down into those certain spots. I don't know why. Just some spots it's taken really dark, which I love. It's kind of turning the archival ink a little bit green, which is okay with me. I don't mind that kind of grungy khaki green. So that's alright. And this you won't really even see. I got a few light spots. I don't want to get it so wet that it lifts my glue. But it's pretty soaked now, so if it's not coming up now, it's not gonna. And I did that, and then I dried it with the heat tool, and then like I said, I just took the baby wipe with more on the baby wipe and just did that to get a more spotty look and to add some darker spots. I think I'll just run it around the edge there a little bit. I might as well just do that. I'll do it now and then I'll dry it. But I'm thinking this would be a lot easier for just doing like coffee dyed looking papers, tea dyed looking papers on the fly. I pulled out one of these little bags and did it to this little bag. I'm going to just do this now and let it dry and just make the color more uneven. But like if you know, if you just have one or two papers that you want to tea dye for a project, rather than making the whole, let's see, making the whole batch, you could just do it on the fly. I'm sure this is not groundbreaking stuff. I'm just kind of excited to have found this and that it's in good shape. So, thought I'd share. I'm going to dry this. Okay, I'm going to try and finish up this front cover today. And I just picked out some pieces that I want to use. This piece and this piece I made in the video where I showed how to do make-ahead mini collages. So I'm using those, and the rest was from Tim Holtz. I think these three pieces were from an ephemera pack, and this one is from the Tim Holtz Found Relatives pack. And then in my stash I found this little piece of vintage tape measure, and I think I'm just going to put it on here as just, you know, like a tab to flip the book open. So I'm just going to get all this glued down, and I'll speed it up, and then we'll figure out how to do the inside. And I'm just going to use this Liquitex Heavy Matte Gel Medium because all these pieces are Okay, this is done. I finished the piece on the front. I just went around it with Stabilo pencil and added the vintage tab out of measuring tape here, and this little dangle that I made from paper clip with a little bit of paper and some doodads. And then on the inside I made an inner cover just with some scrapbook paper from 7 Gypsies, and then I made several signatures. I have Bristol, black card, craft card, multimedia paper, and watercolor paper. And I decided for now just to put it in with one of these elastic hair bands so I can slide the whole page or signature out to work on it and then put it back in. And the back cover and the string. And on the inside front cover I found these Jane Davenport stickers that were in my stash. I can't tell if that's focused for you there. I think that is. Anyways, I just put those in the front. So it's all done. I like it. For first time I've done one of these where you actually put the signatures in and everything, and I've done some covers before and then just never did anything with them, so I like it. Thanks for coming along. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends if you would, please. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I post a couple, 3 times a week and have Fast Fun Fridays where I share short journaling and painting techniques and processes with you on a Friday video. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.